Hi folks, back again. Bathrobe Chronicles number 187. I'm not sure how this one's going to go. For some reason, I'm not sure why, maybe just the need to run my mouth some more, I decided what I'm going to do is this segment's going to be on sort of an overview of my YouTube experience, for lack of a better word. I started here on YouTube in September of '09, and if any of you have been around for a while, you most likely know this, and I apologize for repeating myself, but the way this all started was a joke, so to speak. I came home one night. I was really ticked off about a lot of things. Excuse me. I was ready for bed. I had a bathrobe on. I was smoking. I was having a drink. Yes, there's a drink. And I had this little tiny camera, the one I'm using as we speak. This little tiny guy. It's the size, literally, of a credit card. In other words, that's it. This little tiny camera. And I decided I wanted to try the video part. I had never tried a video, and I have far too many digital cameras, but for some reason I'd never used video. This camera, by the way, it was a poorly rated camera. DP Review, just like it sounds, .com. They do all these esoteric, for lack of a better word, reviews on digital cameras, and it really gave it kind of a poor rating, but I bought it anyway. Primarily because of the size. It will literally fit in your pocket. It's the size of a credit card. And it also has an actual viewer. You don't have to hold it and go like this. It has this little tiny viewer that you can look through. Anyway, so I came home, had a couple of drinks, all ticked off, in my bathrobe, and I decided for some reason, I don't know why, that I was going to rant and rave just to see how the video part of this little tiny camera would do. So I did. I get to work the next day, and I showed it to a co-worker, excuse me, and for whatever reason, she thought it was great. And she said, you need to do some more of these things. And that's how all of this started, or that's how this started. That's how my internet or YouTube stuff started. And as I said, that was in September of '09. Somewhere along the way, and well, let me back up. So I started doing all these things, and I was primarily doing it on the so-called alternative and complementary and integrative medicine stuff, which, you know, drives me absolutely crazy. And that was the primary emphasis when I started this, and I said to myself, well, why are you even wasting your time? And I guess naively I was hoping that if I could get to some people out there, even one or two people who were either themselves pissing away their money, or their family members were wasting money on all this bogus stuff, that, hey, that would be good. That would be okay, you know. That would be worth my getting on here and acting like a dork at times and running my mouth and about all of this stuff. And I've been actually sort of glued to the internet, if you will, for I guess 5 or 6 years about all this stuff out there. You know, the complementary and all that kind of business, and psychics and astrology and reflexology, numerology, Reiki, Jin Shin Do, therapeutic touch, and blah 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 blah. You know, all this stuff out there. And anyway, there came a point when I literally was going to quit. I mean, I was, you know, getting on here and spending my time and getting maybe 6 or 8 people, you know, watching my videos. And all of a sudden one day I said to myself, you know, what the heck are you doing here? You know, this is absurd. You know, you're spending, well, for those of you who do this kind of stuff, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but you're spending if you have like a 10-minute video, you know, you might be spending 30 minutes or more by the time you download it and process it and mess with it and upload it and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, what the hell are you doing? Nobody's looking at this stuff. No one is looking at this stuff. And that was about the time I was going to quit. I don't remember when that was, but I think at the time I had like 10 subscribers maybe, you know. And anyway, the crab man, Aaron, who has quite a presence on the internet, somehow he stumbled across my site. And man, oh man, I mean, it was almost like overnight I had another 60 subscribers. And that was that was all it took, or that's what it took. And I decided, you know, I was going to continue on. If there were people out there who would actually listen to me and take a look at my videos, and hey, okay. And then after that, the Reason Why guy, Matt, for whatever reason, stumbled across my place. And man, then, you know, I had more subscribers. Thank you to both of you folks, Crabman Aaron and to Matt. I truly appreciate all of that. And I got up to somewhere around 200 or so subscribers, and it seemed to fluctuate between 206 and 210, you know, people moving and coming and going and all that. Now, what's really incredible, and by the way, this is the 5th of January 2011, over the past few days, I've picked up, well, I'm at 220 subscribers. May not sound like much. I went from 206 to 220 in 2 days. Thank you, everybody. I needed that. But as I said, this was sort of going to be a review. Now, as I'm taping this, or whatever term you want to use it, I have 281 videos. I've had 17,152 folks, you know, take a look, you know, the views or what have you. And that averages to 61 per video. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of the videos that I liked, you know, for whatever reasons, you know, get almost no reviews. Now, from the olden days when I first started, I'm sure there's some out there somewhere that have 6 or 8 or 10 reviews, or, you know, people who have looked at them. But as I said, I'm averaging now about, well, the average since I started in September of '09 is 61. And so what am I working up to here? I don't know. It's just sort of like an overview of the past year. Now, according to YouTube, excuse me, my mouth is getting dry. 91% of my viewers are male, and the 45 to 54 age group is close to 30%. The over 65 is close to 30%. You know, for whatever reason. I guess if I were going to sit down and say, what would my goals be, like a New Year's Eve resolution kind of thing, for 2011, which I just scribbled a couple of notes a few minutes ago, I really, you know, I don't know. 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, I filed a few complaints with the State Board of Medicine in my state about chiropractors, and these things were, this one particular one was cut and dry. In other words, it wasn't he said, she said, blah blah blah. It was from the chiropractor's website, and there were about 15 violations on the website. And I filed this thing, and of course nothing happened. They said it wasn't founded. It was clear cut. In other words, you know, I wasn't saying something that someone had said to me. It was right there for everyone to see. It had copies of everything, the whole works. They did nothing. And to some extent, I think they might even be afraid, whatever that term means, to actually enforce the laws. You know, which may sound incredible to you, but I think that's part of it. I approached our local newspaper, 2-3 years ago, and I explained all of it. I explained one aspect of what these chiropractors are doing, not only all throughout our state, but through the country, throughout our United States and of course everywhere. And the person who I approached about this agreed that, this stuff was bogus and on and on and on. And said, hey, I'm going to go see my editor. Of course, the editor squelched it. And I think people are afraid for some reason. Of course, the Simon Singh thing over in the UK, boy, did that turn into something. But ultimately, Dr. Singh, he is a doctor, PhD, particle physics, he actually won. Of course, it cost him a couple of years of his life messing in court with these people. So what would my goals be for 2011, assuming that I sat down and actually set them out? That's a good question. I've been wanting to get back to our state's Board of Medicine and just, lay it out to them like this. If I am out there prancing around in a white coat, calling myself a doctor, and doing things that not only don't work, but that can't work, meaning there is no known mechanism that would even say they would remotely have a chance of working, you know what I mean, then what would you do? I don't know. I think that, I don't know. It's just, this whole thing is kind of discouraging. As I said, I guess the primary reason that I do the stuff on the complimentary and all that other baloney is I'm hoping that somewhere out there, someone, will stumble across my site and say, gee whiz, I didn't know this is what's going on. And frankly, a handful have. Not many, but a handful have. And I guess, hey, maybe it's all worthwhile if a couple of people, will stop, wasting their money on this stuff. And I've had a couple of people who have written me about their relatives who were doing it, and now the people who have written me, are sort of seeing the light, so to speak. Do I have all the answers? Of course not. But come on, folks, most of this stuff is pretty simple. One of the examples I often give, if I look you in the eye and say, hey, I can sit here and wave my hands and heal you, come on. Are you going to buy into that? I mean, really. But unfortunately, what's happening is all of this so-called complimentary crap that I've been ranting and raving about for over a year, it's now infiltrating, for lack of a better word, real medical schools. And folks, this just isn't good. I mean, we don't even have national health care in our country, and we're pissing away all this money on all this bogus stuff. And now it's getting into the medical schools, where supposedly real doctors are being trained. Anyway, I guess I've been ranting and raving enough. But as I said, for some reason I felt like I would just try and do like a recap of 2009 and 2010 and the neophytes experience, in YouTube. And boy, there are some really neat people out there who have stopped by my channel, and I really, really, really do appreciate them. I truly do. One thing I need to start doing a little better is responding more quickly to people who make comments on my channels. And I've got several pals or buddies or whatever term you want to use who I would really like to send more messages to, but I, like the rest of us, I get bogged down, and I try to have a life beyond this little YouTube thing. But all you guys are important, guys and gals, of course guys, I'm meaning guys and gals, who show up, who comment, who send me notes. You guys are real important, and I really have appreciated all of your support, over the past year. And I think my 15 minutes is up. So as Pat Condell would say, peace, ladies and gentlemen, peace, and thanks for all your comments and everything. I truly appreciate them. And boy, do you guys keep me straight. I can't say anything out there that's wrong that you don't catch it. The other day, the guy caught me on what? I said Christopher Hitchens' brother's name was Philip and it's Peter. But thank you for catching me. Anyway, you guys take care, and I hope you have the best ever New Year's in 2011. As Pat Condell would say, peace, ladies and gentlemen, peace.